people. What's going on, Justice Warriors, Justice League? How are you guys this morning? It's Friday the 13th. I love Friday the 13th. I'm so serious. One sec. No matter how much water I drink before I get started, I'm constantly thirsty. I guess that's a sign of good health to a point. I mean, if you're too thirsty, it can be indicative of a diabetic situation. We don't need anything like that around here. So, Susan Dodge, I was just about to say I'm all alone. So I have the slow mode on, but only I turned it down to every 10 seconds since Crime Watch with Kenny seemed really peeved with it when it was at 15 seconds. And I haven't seen him since, so I don't know. I don't know if he's just busy with other stuff or if he hates me. But thank you guys so much for not hating me and for coming back again and again. We got Susan in the house and Mark, Bex, and Pixie Knickers. You guys are rocking my world. Thank you so much. It's so kind of you to be here. Um, yeah. Wow. Where shall we start? I really try hard to review my videos because there's always a lot to learn. It's very different when I'm delivering it from when I'm watching it. So, like yesterday's, oh my goodness, I was like on speed, remember? Because I had knocked my coffee down before I started and it set me back and then I was like crunched for time. I just wanted to follow up with you guys about that and I love that handle batshit crazy blonde gypsy. Hey. I just wanted to follow up that everything was 100% fine with me going over a little bit. So thank goodness. I'm usually fine. Like things usually seem to work out like that for me. I'm very fortunate. It seems like I'm just trying to pin a message. There we go. Trying to switch it up. It sometimes, on most days, it feels like I'm right where I'm supposed to be every moment of the day, and that's such a gift. I love feeling that way. It's amazing. And then there's those days where you just feel like you're not in sync with anything. But for the most part, there's a lot of kismet and synchronicity in my life, and I'm extremely appreciative of it. So, like yesterday, when I saw that it was 11:08 and I really needed to cut myself off before 11, I was like, oh crap, I am completely screwed. But everything was 100% fine. So, I was relieved. I just hope you guys are relieved because that was like the fastest I've ever gotten off of alive. That was pretty wild, wasn't it? But anyway, when I was reviewing my video later last night, and I was just like hopped up and just speaking like 100 miles an hour, and I was so glad then when I addressed it and said, "Man, I need to slow down," because I was just like, "Man, like you're talking like double speed." Anyway, I'm not crunched for time at all today. It's Friday the 13th. It is like, knock on wood, it is totally the lucky day for me. My whole life I've been like that. I've always understood it to be like, well, it's bad luck for a lot of people, so it's got to be good luck for some. Um, anyway, I always enjoy a good Friday the 13th. And then especially because we're in October and, spooky stuff. And spooky stuff can be cool, but personally, I have an issue with the extent of all the zombie stuff that kids are getting into younger and younger. And I don't like it for my kids. I really don't even like it for me to a point. I mean, some of that's okay and fun, but like right now, this year, I'm really into like all the Halloween decorations and, the Halloween decor, but not so much the gore. When I see it, I think of my poor mother who passed away a year and a half ago and she was not doing well at the end and she was really falling apart. Um, and then I think about where she's at 6 feet under. When I see that stuff, when I see like the partial skeletons and stuff, I'm just like, dear goodness, like, do you have to like put that right in people's faces? And I try to think of it kind of like the dawn of the Day of the Dead. In Mexico, I know that that's an opportunity to connect with your ancestors. So I try to look at it like that, that it's just kind of, death is part of life. Unfortunately, I always say to myself when I'm suffering a loss or when somebody else is, I say, damn that whole mortality crap, screw it. So, when we're looking at these cases with true crime, it's extremely disturbing because it's people's lives that have been stolen from them. So I appreciate the gravity of the situation. I try to make it a little light sometimes, but I just want you guys to know that I take this stuff extremely seriously. So I know you do too. Mm. All right. And yeah, we were talking yesterday about my friend who unalived herself when she was 16, 19. My brain is working. Hold on. Yeah, we were like really tight, like best friends from the time we were about 12. I think she was 11 and I was 12. So that's kind of like Kaylee and Maddie. We were in seventh grade when we bonded and hung out all the time. And, over the years, it ebbed and flowed. We had other friends as well. And then I was living in Washington State. It was right after I moved to Washington State in 1987 that she unalived herself. And it was pretty awful. But it came up in our conversation yesterday with the idea of people having visitations. And I was talking about Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the honey badger, and how she had that cool story about how Kylie came to her in a dream. And Kevin Neese has his song that I put into the description again yesterday. The song is called My New Friends. And that song is about Kylie coming to him in his dream, introducing herself and asking for his help. And then you guys told me about this new channel. I wrote it down, but I did actually go visit the new channel. Um, and what was it? Jacob somebody. So thanks for that heads up. And yeah, I don't think I would have ever found him. And he was a really interesting character. I totally buy his um what should we call it? Like a gift? I mean, I think of these things as a gift and a curse at the same time because it can be creepy. Like we've all seen The Sixth Sense, right? Um, a lot of times people think that stuff is so cool, but for the people that live it, sometimes not so cool. So Jacob seemed to describe that in the videos that I watched, that, sometimes it's very disturbing for him to see what he sees. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I was able to catch up with some of the CNY and some of the Kevin Neese, and I just want you guys to know that I do my best to keep up with other content creators, especially the ones that I really respect and appreciate their perspective. But none of what I saw yesterday changed my perspective about Kylie Rodney. Um, I am very appreciative of these stories that people tell about Kylie. I honestly still think she could be alive. I honestly believe that there could be people coming out to contact content creators to say, let me give you an inside scoop, to sell it, to sell the public, the true crime community on giving up looking for her because, you know, they don't want people looking for her. They don't want people to find her. Um, it's entirely possible. It's entirely plausible that she expired and that that's just a fantasy to wonder if she might be living. But we all know that if she is still alive, then it's got to be a dreadful situation that she's in, most likely. More dreadful than most of us could imagine. However, people that have experienced that kind of thing, I'm thinking of like, um, is it JC Duggard and Elizabeth Smart or the other Smart? The what about the 3 women in Cleveland who were held hostage for, like, 10 years before they escaped out of that house? You guys remember that one? I think JC Duggard was isn't she the one that was also held captive for about 10 years? That was abducted, was it on the campus of UC Berkeley, or the guy had connections with UC Berkeley? I haven't reviewed these cases in a while, sorry. But, then Elizabeth Smart, is that the one that was in San Luis Obispo, or is that the one that was in Utah that was kidnapped from her house and chained up for 9 months and then finally reunited with her family? These people that survive these horrors, and I actually have a friend who was kidnapped for a couple of days and held like that, and she was 11, and she's in her 40s now, and she can talk about it, like, without a problem. Um, these horrors that you and I cannot imagine living with, people that have survived that take it in stride, you know? They do what they need to do to survive it. They sometimes disassociate, they block it out, um, they do whatever they need to do in order to survive, and sometimes people, like, take it out of their memory. You know, they literally block it out, they compartmentalize it, and that's part of the PTSD, and it can be, helpful for people to move forward with their lives, but then it can be extremely challenging when their psyche allows those ideas to flood in. Um, so I just wanna say that in the unlikely event that Kylie Rodney is still living, I do believe that she's extremely tough and extremely strong and that she's a fighter and that she would be able to persevere. But I also fear that that's just wishful thinking. So I just want to clarify all that. I appreciate all of the information. I really, really appreciate you guys telling me about other channels because yeah, Jacob is like everyone's favorite cranky Uncle Rando. I love that. Okay, so let's stay caught up with you guys because I was like 15 minutes behind your chat yesterday. I didn't even realize it till I was reviewing. I was like, oh my goodness, that must be so annoying when you're watching it and I'm reading your comments from 15 minutes ago. So let me stay caught up. I love that comment, Rando. Thank you for that. And yeah, he's starting a food truck too, which sounds pretty awesome. Mark Molina says, now I think it's highly involved with exposed to some traffic illegal wise. I learned Tahoe area is a dark, gross area for things U.S. Attorney of California has reported. Yeah, California's twisted. I mean, I've lived there several times in my life when I was young growing up and then as an adult for graduate school. Um, and I love California. I mean, when you live in California, you can't imagine not living in California. Like there's just no place you would rather be. It's an amazing state. It's absolutely beautiful. It's extremely dynamic. The weather is pretty ideal, but it's overly crowded and there's a lot of crazy stuff. And I saw a lot of that crazy stuff as a tween. Um, I can only tell you some of the parties that I went to where I skated so close to danger, and people like Jeffrey Epstein that had their sights set on me. And all I can tell you is I've got some serious guardian angels and some wicked spidey senses. There's so many bad situations that I got out of by the skin of my teeth. And then fortunately moved to Ohio when I was 15, like I was turning 15. Um, and it was there's still that kind of stuff in Ohio, of course, um, but not as bad as Southern California. So I, honestly, I cried every day for a year. I missed the beach. I missed my friends. Um, and I felt like I was surrounded by cornfields and cows and a bunch of hicks. But after crying every day for a year, going back and visiting with my friends for the entire summer the following year, that was like between 10th grade and 11th grade. Um, I kind of got over it. By the time I got back from my summer vacation, I was happy, I was adjusted, and ever since then to this day, I've always seen it as the best thing that could have possibly ever happened for me to get uprooted from Southern California to the Midwest. And it was like family issues with my parents and stuff like that. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get on with Kylie Rodney. There's a lot that I want to talk about with her case. It's just an ongoing nightmare. And like Mark said, if nothing else, it gives us insight into the BS in Tahoe. And let's not overlook the BS in Reno because Tahoe is like mamby-pamby compared to Reno. Reno is about as grisly as it gets. Sacramento's really bad too, and Auburn. I mean, these places, not to be condescending or disrespectful, but they're like freaking armpits, you guys. And I haven't been to any of these places in over 20 years. So I can only imagine that they've gotten a hell of a lot worse, especially with recreational marijuana becoming legal and there being places where you can pick that up 24/7, right? And nothing against people who utilize it, especially medicinally, because I utilized it medicinally, I think, to self-medicate for my anxiety, but man, that stuff effed me up. So, um, just because it's legal, it doesn't mean it's good. I mean, alcohol is legal, ice cream is legal, but if you eat it all day, you're gonna be extremely unhealthy and feel like crap, right? So, and just because it's natural, it doesn't mean it's good. Like, I used to say that all the time. People would be like, "Oh, well, pot's natural." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, so's cat crap. Do you smoke it? Do you eat it? Do you put it in your brownies?" I don't think so. Same with the dog mess, right? Anyway, just because it's natural, it doesn't mean it's safe. Hemlock is natural. Enough on my soapbox. I'm hopping off. Let's see. Rando Boo, 13 Friday. I lived in San Jose for 4 months. Great weather, costly, and traffic not the traffic I was talking about with Kylie. Ew. Yeah, San Jose is also can be pretty seedy. And you're reminding me, Mark, of the police commissioner? It was somebody who had a position, a political position, was in San Jose, and she got arrested and investigated for a bunch of shady business this past year. Um, and yeah, I mean, so it does happen. Some corruption does get looked at. Yesterday, I was talking about Darcy Smith in Idaho, who was under investigation for embezzlement. And 3 or 4 days after the police interviewed her about that investigation, she unalived self in the parking lot at the fairgrounds that she was the director of. And this was October 31st last year. So 13 days before Idaho 4. And I put a link in the description of yesterday's video of a letter that her husband wrote to the community on November 17th. So I don't it sounds like from his letter he doesn't believe that she had embezzled any amount of money and that he also doesn't believe that she unalived herself. And it also sounds like she had more than 1 kid. So she was in her 30s or maybe 40, 41 at the oldest, um, and had launched a filed a grievance against, I think 4 supervisors that were like politicians in Idaho. And then the grievance never got investigated, but then all of a sudden they were investigating her for an alleged embezzlement. And maybe some money was missing, but maybe money wasn't missing. But either way, it doesn't mean she did it. And it doesn't mean that she would have completely overreacted and taken her own life if even at worst if she did do it and she had embezzled 20 or $40,000. Like, that's not that much money, and you can pay that back or you can get, community service. I don't think many parents would take themselves out over something like that when they have kids. And she was married and she loved her job. So, those are like your main uh supports in your life, your relationship with your spouse, your family, your job, and where you live. So if you have security and happiness in all three of those things, you're going to be pretty good. When one of those things gets shaky, that's when people can have crises and become having suicidal ideation and wanting to self-harm or actually self-harming, being self-destructive. When you have two of those things change in a close proximity of time, it's going to be extremely rough for a while. If you have all three of those things change, your primary support, your job, and your housing situation, if you have all three of those things change within like a 24-month period, you're going to have a couple of years of extreme turbulence, even if those changes are for the better. So it's something to keep in mind. And then it's especially something to keep in mind when we're looking at tragedies like what happened in Maui and people's jobs are screwed, their homes are gone, and they might have lost some loved ones. Like that's going to take a long time to get back on track. Um, but one of the best things that you can do when you're going through transitions like that is to keep consistency and some type of predictability with a routine. Like if you go for walks in the evening or, the simplest things like brushing your teeth every morning and every night, keeping your routine will help you stay not crazy. So it'll help you fight the crazy and feel like you have some stability and some sanity. Um, and for me, honestly, when I'm going through anything difficult, that's when I swim like every single day. Like that's the best thing I can do because it's like meditating the whole time. And it's just so repetitive and calming. So, yeah, San Jose. When I was in graduate school in Belmont, California, we lived in the city in San Francisco, and that whole area is just phenomenal. And that's when I had the opportunity to go to Tahoe a lot on the weekends. Some friends had a place, and we got to stay in their lodge for free. So all we had to do was come up with the hundreds of dollars for the ski equipment and the ski passes, the lift tickets, and food and gas and, having a clear schedule for the weekend so we could do that. But we did it as much as possible because it was such a great opportunity. And that was pretty much how I learned to ski. And it's important too to keep in mind that places like Tahoe and Hawaii, these are the playgrounds of the super wealthy. I mean, I feel extremely fortunate to have been able to play at these playgrounds, and they are beyond the hype of what you ever have heard about how gorgeous they are. I mean, Tahoe is like heaven on earth, and Hawaii is just like a serious magical paradise out in the middle of a vast expanse of open sea. I mean, these places are phenomenal. But there's quite the dark side when you have these people like Jeffrey Epstein is the perfect example. Absolutely perfect example. And unfortunately, there's a lot of those in the Bay Area. There's a lot of those in Southern California. I mean, they're all over. People like that are all over. And it's quite possible that they had their sights on Kylie Rodney, and then they got her, and then maybe she survived, maybe she didn't. And it's possible that it was other stuff too, with um, still think that all theories are on the table. We don't have answers. We may never have answers, but people like us are not going to give up. And, you know, the truth will come out eventually one day. Somebody will crack Megs. So, um, yeah. I wanted to live in the Sonoma area too, Mark. When we moved back up to Washington State, we were looking at moving to um, Sonoma County. And Sonoma County is where, so that's north of the Bay Area. Marin County is the northern part of the Bay Area. And then Napa and Sonoma. And that's where that crazy place is, the Bohemian Grove. I really had no idea what that was until the Kylie Rodney case, the Bohemian Grove. Weird. And it's like, I think just due west of Santa Rosa, slightly south, but basically just due west of Santa Rosa. And I think it's like at the northern part of the Muir Woods. But yeah, it's been for decades, it's been like a secret gentleman's club. And it kinda sounds like a Burning Man kinda thing, like a whole lot of crazy stuff goes on there, but it's all secretive and it's all for dudes only, and there's probably a lot of trafficking and a lot of slavery going on, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. Oh, I haven't done any of my stuff. Please share, subscribe, ring your notification bell, hit that like button. And everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and to be educational and to get educated. And all my videos are made specifically for the YouTube, which is an entertainment platform. So, let's see. Callie is cray cray rando. Well, and see, when I was growing up there and my grandparents lived in Ohio, they were always just like, yeah, those Californians are insane. And don't they know the place is going to fall into the ocean because that's San Andreas fault? Um, you got the wrong strain, Jazz. What? Oh, the wrong strain of the MJ. Is that what you're talking about? Let's see. Hit that like button. We won't track your private info. You're cute, Mark. That's hilarious. Um, let's see. Good morning. You know what? Sunset Salty Sage. I thought that said grooming. I was like, what? Who's grooming? Um, oh, lovely pendant. Thank you. It's three. Here, I'll show you my little this one is a square. I love squares. And then this is a Haliyashi titanium thing that I've had for seriously like 35 or 40 years. And then this one is like a blue, it's the same thing as this. Aquamarine. It's my husband and my oldest child's birthstone. And then my earrings, are they showing? Can you see them? They have little tigers on them, and they're not square but rectangle. I have a thing for square and rectangle jewelry because it's less common. Anyway, remember, we're not a jewelry channel, we're a home decor channel. I have her back. So I know I'm a goofball. Oh, and it says battery low. You know what I need to do? I need to get my freaking cord. Dang, it's always something. Excuse me, you guys. I am so sorry. Let's see how easy this is going to be, hopefully. Hopefully, hopefully. Uh-oh. Maybe not so easy. No, I think it's fine. One sec. No. Oh my goodness. I'm not finding my cord. How could this be? I know I have it. I know I have it handy. Oh my goodness. I'm cursed. Well, if I lose this feed, you guys, I will get the cord and come right back on. But let me see if I can find it. How annoying. Oh, I know where it is. No, I don't. Oh, I'm so cursed. Okay, I might not know where it is, you guys. We better wrap up. We better keep it short today. I had everything under control. Oh my goodness. I could always do my cell phone too if we get cut off. It is always something. Dang it. Dang it all. I totally thought I had everything going. Um and now I can't even get comfortable back in my chair. Okay, let's get on track. Um while she grabs her cord, I'm grabbing a cup of Shan. Thank you for being here. Thank you everybody for being here. And what have I missed? Um, I missed a whole bunch. Where'd it go? Anyone know what that LLZ meant on the memorial for Kylie at Prosser? LLZ or LLK, the Long Live Kylie? Yeah, if we keep looking, asking in the Redwoods, right? Yeah, the Bohemian Grove. Yep. Gentlemen, my arse. Thank you, Sunset. Yeah, see, the gaslighting is so freaking effective. Like, I call it a gentleman's club because that's what gentlemen's clubs are called. Like, yeah, how about scumbag club? Much better. So, my intuition says KR is being protected. See, I like that. Um, and finally getting to type good morning, Jazz and Justice Warriors. I was doing needy Nove things. I can't believe my cord because whenever I have my cord fall out or I don't have my cord, I think of you, Shan, because I know sometimes when I'm coming on your lives, on your panels, you're like, do you have your cord? Oh my goodness. And I'm thinking I left it plugged in somewhere and didn't, I can't remember where. I thought it was right handy. Anyway, like I said, if we lose the live, which I guess we might, um, then I can try to do a cell phone thing or maybe just try to do one over the weekend because I wanted to try to do one over the weekend anyway. But I don't want to get cut off. Like, if we can just design it so that we can wrap it up more quickly so that we don't run into a situation like that because that sucks getting cut off. Um, let's see. Thanks for the lives and videos you put out. Very sharp stuff. Did you get any done last night, Shan? I know you were trying to, but that's fine if you didn't. I've been keeping up with your stuff. I've been keeping up with Mark's stuff. I've been trying to keep up with that Divine Mrs. Justice, Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the Honey Badger. She's really hard to keep up with because she's just like making more as you're watching them. So, Ninja Chihuahua. And then, yesterday I was trying to catch up with all these others that I hadn't been staying caught up with. And, just trying to keep up with myself. And then, some of the basics that I really like to keep up with too, like Harsh Reality and Jewels of All Trades. Of course, Crime Circus, but luckily he only pumps them out like once a week, so they're easier to keep up with. Um, and same with Paula Plunder. Like sometimes she's doing more than one a week, but a lot of times it's just like one a week. So, yeah. Anyway, Paper Songs, that's such a nice handle. While she grabs her cord, I'm grabbing a cup of joe. Um, let's see. Dang, yeah, pray for the cord, and maybe I will find it. This is funny, right? I'm cracking up here. Oh, Mark. Oh, you're funny. Um, let's see. LLZ is from Cece's new video. So what is it? Long live Z? Z was on her memorial under LLK. Thank you for the information. Huh, that's interesting. I have no idea though. On Kylie's memorial in California at Prosser, wonder if she has a nickname starting with a Z. Something's up with that. Maybe Xena Warrior Princess. But also her friend Kaylee, Kyla, the friend that was there at the memorial with the purple hair, the 1 year mark, and then Illuminated Mind made a couple of videos about them maybe having at least her friend having a thing for her. Maybe they had a thing, maybe not. I think that's all very interesting. You know, the kids these days are a lot more gender fluid than most of us can wrap our minds around. And I've always thought that there could have been a sexual tension with Kylie and Scammy. And yeah, not only that they were competing for the same guys, but that maybe Sammy Iammi had a thing for Kylie. And maybe they had a tryst. Who knows? Who knows? You know, when you've got these teenagers and their hormones, and yeah, things happen, right? I also saw WW Will Show You the Way, authored by Z. Who is WW? Wayne Wu. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Um, yeah, I don't like to say his name. That's like Beetlejuice. The same reporter who was with Jagger and Kate with her childhood friend feels Sammy is a pawn. You feel Sammy is a pawn, or yeah, the same reporter who was with Jagger and Kate was with her childhood friend. And you know, I mean, these people like they try to be the puppet masters with the media, but then they also try to be puppet masters with the YouTube. There were a lot of weird things going on with the Kylie Rodney case on YouTube, like right when I started my channel. One of my first videos was about I spoke about the perfume bottles in her car, and man, did I get some blowback from that. And people were just like, "Oh, well, you're just stupid and you don't know. Like, we all carry perfume bottles in our cars." And I'm like, "Really? Because if you care about your perfume, that's going to ruin it." So I don't believe you. But, you know, I also started telling people, well, beware because if you get pulled over for speeding and they see perfume bottles in your car, law enforcement is going to think that you're using that to mask the smell of marijuana or alcohol. So they will take note and they will take action. So I remember somebody like freaked out when I made a video where I mentioned the black pox marks on Mags's face because like those weren't there and then all of a sudden they're there. So it makes you think, well, she's got to be under a lot of stress, maybe drugs, because that can happen when you're using meth. Um, Somebody got into my comment sections and said, "Oh, no, you didn't go there. You know, this is a young girl and you can't criticize her complexion." It's like, you know, I'm not criticizing her complexion. I'm pointing out a fact that she's got like serious things going on her face that weren't there and then suddenly they were. I'm not criticizing her. I'm just saying. So anyway, I think that people coming out with that serious like pushback, to me it is makes me suspicious that they might be from Truckee. You know what I mean? And then just a lot of the effery. I mean, I like to go back to the Watts case, that was the first time that content creators noticed that they were getting trolled by people that were not just internet trolls, but they were internet trolls with a purpose. So people from Colorado and people from the other side of that case that were working hard in the Suzanne Morphew case when it started 3.5 years ago. Man, Barry Morphew had an army of people coming out into the ether to fight for him and to say what a great guy he was and how everybody was so wrong and, we'd be eating our words. Okay, sure, right. And from jump, I always thought that those people were friends of his, people that he put up to it. I mean, with artificial intelligence now, you guys, like that's so easy to do. Like you don't even have to put much effort into it. You just push a button. So, I think that that is something that goes on in all these cases. And like I've talked about with the Idaho 4 case and with TCT that hasn't done any videos in 3 months, that started their channel on Christmas Day last year and had all the inside scoop. I believe that there are a lot of channels that could be made by people in positions, professional positions that shouldn't do that. And that at times, like if you're working in law enforcement, you're not allowed to be doing crap like that, like, period. Like, you're not allowed to be messing with social media, except there are many departments that have their social media officers, and that's their job, is to do the social media. So some of these people might be doing their job by creating accounts and creating channels, and some of them might be breaking the rules by doing it. It depends on whether it's part of their job description or not. But I'm sure that both happen. I'm 100% sure that both happen. So keep it in mind. Um, Sammy is definitely something in Kylie's case. Definitely. And, going back to all of that stuff with Celicia Singh and Vanessa Singh, that whole uh content of information was that she was working with Vanessa Singh to pimp her out, basically, right? Um, and I still think that that could be a big part of it. Again, whether she's dead or alive, that was something at some point in time. I'm curious who the one person listed as an employee by STI was. Sammy, Nick, STI? Clue me in, squirrels. Um, I don't know what STI is. Shan, you're not wrong. Yeah, Sammy is involved, but who told and ordered and cleared her to work with Ellie higher ups? I wonder if Ellie did do the hiding the car and redropping. Well, and I've heard, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I've heard from reliable sources, and I don't have it vetted, that Sammy had worked for law enforcement, like maybe the Truckee PD or maybe one of the sheriff's departments. And I don't know what her job was, if she was just, taking out the trash or what. But I heard that she had previously been employed. Maybe it was an internship with high school. Who knows? But I'm curious if anybody else knows anything about that. Um, Let's see. Good morning, you all outdoorsy life. Shan, you ron it. You rock it. I don't know what ron it is. You're on it. That's what it is. Shan, you're on it. I'm so proud of myself when I can read your typos, people. I feel like a genius. I'm like, Shan, you ron it. Rock it. Okay. Shan, you're on it. See, I'm so smart, right? Hi, outdoorsy, you late, LOL, disappointed. I used AI this morning on work. Mark was at the park getting some fresh air and I was listening. Oh, very good. Outdoorsy Life was doing the outdoorsy life. So not a hypocrite. That's always good to know. So I'm thinking that I should maybe wrap up and then try to find my cord and try another live. Just because now I'm concerned. Because, like I said, I hate getting cut off like in the middle of what we're doing here. So maybe we should think about wrapping up, keep this one kind of short. I mean, it's already 45 minutes since I spent 5 minutes looking for my word. Let's see. And then yeah, we can continue with what we're talking about now and continue with the rest of it. Um Let me try to speed read to get caught up to the end here. Sounds like someone we know. Great place to be. I do parks with the dog 4 times a day to get out of screen and work. LOL. You're cool with me. That's awesome. The dog park 4 times a day. That's amazing. Yeah, dog parks can be like a really cool place to be for sure. Even if you're not a dog. I mean, the dogs think it's the bomb, right? They think it's like Tahoe or Hawaii. I'm addicted to fresh air. That's awesome. That's a great addiction. Sierra Tahoe Investigations. Thank you, squirrels. Yeah, my brain was never going to come up with that right now. It's been a while. So, yeah, that's the company that Scammy's parents own. And so, going back to the comment, if I can find it. I'm curious who the one person listed as an employee by Sierra Tahoe Investigations was. Sammy, Nick? Probably yes. I would say probably both of them, right? I mean, of course, Sammy would have worked there. Like, why not? If you can work for your parents and make some money. Um, yeah. And oh, goodness. I was late typing outdoorsy. Nova and I were enjoying the fall air. I know it's a perfect day out today. I need a new keyboard. Some keys don't work the first time. Oh, isn't that annoying? And that's why it says some keys down work the first time. You're on it. Put the cord in one place, same place all the time. I try to do that with everything in my life, but, I woke up at 4 this morning, which is not normal. I usually wake up at, like, 5:30, but I went to bed very early last night because I was exhausted. Because I get more and more tired by the end of the week, so I think I fell asleep last night shortly after 8. So I woke up at 4, and then I got so busy taking care of all kinds of business and thought I had everything under control. Anyway, it's very humid and muggy here. We had tornado weather for 2 days. Is that Florida, outdoorsy life? Because Clearwater, they had a tornado last night, didn't they? Um, Clearwater, Florida. Put on AirTag your cord. Oh, those things are good, but my cord is just so annoying because it falls out all the time. So sometimes I think it's plugged in and it just it was, but then it unplugged itself. Wrap up, find your cord, and come back if you have time. Sounds like a good plan. Love the blue lighting behind you, pretty. I absolutely hate when police so wrong and almost all comments support and defend them, even after watching body or other cam footage of the wrongdoing. I just figure they are trolling cops. Hey, GC. That's a great comment. I want to read it again. I absolutely hate when police so wrong and almost all comments support and defend them even after watching body or other cam footage or of the wrongdoing. I just figure they are trolling cops. Yeah, and some people will just defend them no matter what because that's how they're raised. And just like any other person, any other human, like they can do things that are despicable, and often they do. They get, that badge and that gun, and they do whatever the hell they want. I've seen it too many times. Absolutely. Check out your local Salvation Army thrift shop. If money is tight, sometimes they have inexpensive keyboards that are perfectly fine, Sunset says. That's a great idea. Um, yeah, but then you have to spend time finding the keyboard. You could probably order one online, Mark, right? In your car, it's possible. Um, Involuntary lurker, my phone battery is messed up after the water incident. Truly need a new phone now. Yeah, water will mess that up for sure. Um, yeah, need to buy stuff. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna say bye. I won't hang up quite as abruptly as I did yesterday, unless I get cut off, of course. But I have a bunch of notes here, so hopefully we can get back on. If not later this afternoon, then hopefully tomorrow. Let's see, what else? You guys have a great Friday the 13th. Oh, see, that's what it was. It was my Friday the 13th curse, and it's warning me now, so we might get cut off at any second. It tells me I might want to plug in my PC. Yeah, I might. Anyway, have a really good afternoon. Stay hydrated and well nourished. Get your exercise, fresh air, sunshine, relax, get your rest. And what else? Look out for Jason. I will. I just dropped a short. Who has seen this reaction on AWP? Very cool. Let's all watch Mark Molina's short and then try to reconvene later today or tomorrow. All right. Take care. Sending you love, sending you light, and talk to you soon. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Light and love.